Someone, guys. I'm busy watching an interview on the Piers Morgan show. He's interviewing Robert Greene. Robert Greene is the author of the 48 Laws of Power. Did I read the book? I think I listened to the audiobook, but I also really love the 50th Law of Power, the one that he did with Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent. And it's so crazy when you hear people's backstory. And in the interview, he's explaining how average he was. He's explaining how he tried to do this and he tried to do this and he kept failing over and over. And his parents were so concerned with, will this guy ever make it? Will he ever be able to be independent and stand on his own 2 feet? And I think he only started really being able to make a little bit of cash around 38, if I'm not mistaken. And again, if you follow a lot of these successful people, you realize there's this, but there's this notion that we have, these guys are incredibly talented or incredibly smart in the arena or in the space that they are in, or these guys took a risk and they just made it and they doubled down and they put their head down. It's so incredible that we have all these opinions on the outside, but we actually don't know how they got to be successful. I've been doing a deep dive on is it Richard Feynman? He was part of the guys that put together the atomic bomb. He's a quantum physicist and all these things. And he also speaks with, he just had an average IQ, and this person won Nobel Prize and this and that. And again, it speaks to this whole notion of there's people there who are so much smarter than us or so much more talented than us. And no matter how you look at it, Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Serena Williams, no matter how you look at it, you realize what these people have put in years and years and years and years, at beating at that skill. Years. We were on the panel show on Convo, and Ulungal was reading these, I don't know, these tweets or whatever, but he had taken screenshots of them and he was reading. And part of them was talking around, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something around taking a risk in order to be successful. And I know I've spoken about this many times on this specific channel, but I don't believe in risk. I don't believe in risk. I don't believe in this magic talent. I don't believe in this leap of faith. I was listening to, I was reading some of the comments when I did that whole thing about our mothers or our fathers have destroyed the generation, and I'm reading some of the comments on the past videos, and I'm like, people have no idea. It's either people think ukuthi mina ngiflop or mina I'm so rich, billionaire, trillionaire. And I'm like, fam, I'm just like you. I'm on a journey of discovery. Some people will see me on a certain podcast and say, where did this guy come from? Out of nowhere. Much like when we see a musician, whoever that musician may be, DJ Ban, we're like, out of nowhere. And again, it's almost like they just took this risk, and they uploaded a video, and that one video, it got 1 trillion views, that's not the case, guys. That's not the case. The case. I need you to understand truly. You just take one step and then the next step and the next step and then the next step. And unfortunately, for those that are looking for fame and their names in lights, that will only come at step number 10,000. That will only come years and years and years down the line, or it may not come. However, you'll get better and better and better and better. The most simplest thing, I remember I did this when I was still teaching back in the day when I was teaching my grade 6s, and I used the same analogy and the same concept of trying to show them in life, it's not about people that are born with these magic talents. We think on the outside it's magic talents. No, or Messi have been playing soccer for years. So what I did, because I had a little soccer ball, and I had people, I think I chose 5 random people, and I made them Uktega is to tap a soccer ball, but just with their left. Just with their left. And I made sure which I wrote their names and the maximum amount that they could tega with just the left. Just tap the ball with just the left foot. How many times? And like again, it was just average kids, from sporty to nerdy to just average, you name it. And of the 5, I think the best person who could tap with his left foot, who was a right-footed person, but I made him tap with the foot that he's not strong with. I think the max person got something like 6 or something like that. And then like the weaker people got like 1 tap in. And then they just tapped. Every time they get into my class, they would just practice a little bit, practice a little bit, practice a little bit. And we started this exercise on the Monday. And then by the time we got to Friday, the guy who could tap 6, he was already like sitting at 12. The kid who was tapping 1 was like on 3, 4, just within a week. And again, this can be compound because you can do it week after week after week after week after week. And all it's saying is that you're not going to be great. Practice doesn't make best or perfect, whatever bullshit. It just makes you better. Now, when we're on the outside and we look at that person who took a leap of faith, oh my God, look at that person who took a leap of faith and started that business. That person who took a leap of faith and started, To you, it looks like a risk. To you, I'm at gym, I'm carrying 50 kg on each arm. To you, that could get injured, this guy. To you, it looks like a risk because you didn't see me last week do 48. The week before, do 47. The week before, do 46. The week before, do 45. You didn't see my journey. You just walk in that specific day to see a 50. In your mind, because you do a 20. You like, oh my God, I couldn't go from going from 20, leaping to 50. No, you can't. Really, you can't, even if you wanted to. So there's no risk because life requires steps. Like a baby, it requires steps. You need to ensure that you learn how to sit, learn how to crawl, how to stand, how to walk, how to run. That's how life works. But to others, they're like, oh my God, Lingani Kule is so fast. No, it Kule in the right time that this was meant to grow. We spoke about risk on the show, and I tried to use an analogy of an embryo that is growing in an egg. So think of a chicken egg and the yolk and everything that's inside. For us, we don't see what is happening inside that egg. We don't. We only see when that egg breaks. That's all we see. So again, the hen, the female chicken, she's sitting on it day after day after day after day. We don't see the day after day after day after day. We just see again the cracking of the shell. We don't see what's happening inside. Again, on the show, I said I was having a debate with some random talala. And they were like, I was so annoyed because they said, your brother only started making it or popping when he was on a podcast and chill podcast. And I was like, he only started popping on podcast and chill? That's when he started popping? Not that it made him grow bigger, because I'd take that. But he started popping? Do you think on podcast and chill, they just pick people off the side of the road randomly? Don't you think Uguti, he got into their radar, their producer's radar, the presenter's radar, and then from there, I was like, bro, this guy had thousands of people on Facebook following him. Just because you first saw him there, you, in your mind, you took that risk. I remember when I got into education, and maybe again, I'm repeating myself and I apologize, but for those who are new and are hearing this for the first time, it's very, very important for them to understand this concept. Because again, when I started doing my teaching practicals, when I was in varsity, I was doing my postgrad and I was doing my teaching practicals. I remember all the students that I was in my practical group, they'd always be like, yes, Spencer, you're so confident. You just get into class and you command respect and you just teach, this just comes so naturally to you. I was like, no. The story is when I was in grade 8 and I'd go and visit my mother's school, Mambuile, shout out to Mambuile. Mambuile who was teaching grade 8 English at the time, would sometimes ask me to just stand in her class while she's busy with something else. Stand in and read the Romeo and Juliet, because we in grade 8 were reading Romeo and Juliet. Naselokshi were reading Romeo and Juliet, government schools, years now. So again, I would sit in her class to my fellow grade 8s and read aloud Romeo and Juliet's. Again, something except whatever the case may be, but I would read to the other grade 8s. Bearing in mind, when I was in grade 8, I was 12 turning 13. Some of the kids that were in that grade 8 class were like 15, 16, but I learned to speak. And they would ask questions. What does that line mean? Hey, what does that line mean? And I'd explain. And I did that often, constantly, and I know my mom would always buy me like a plate, just to say thank you. And that happened throughout my whole high school. It really, really did. And I remember in grade 11, Mafra Eberson, she was the under 14A hockey girls coach. And she would ask me every now and again, can you step in and assist with the under 14B girls? So I'd go, while she's working with the 14A, I would help working with the 14B. So I'm a grade 11 boy, 16 years old, helping coaching. That's another form of teaching, So elokishini, I'm assisting every now and again, helping out, teaching here and there. Eskele, I'm doing the same thing. I get to varsity, I start coaching. I start coaching under 7s. Those are little kids, grade 1s. I start coaching under 7s. I start coaching under 12s. This is first year, second year, third year. Where are my future peers in education? They're out partying, they're out drinking, they're out there studying. They are all to themselves. They are not putting into practice the teaching element that I have been doing since grade 8, 2002. So when we meet up, 2010, I've got like 8-9 years experience over teaching little kids, big kids. I've been engaging over and over and over. I've been teaching in Lokshin, I've been teaching in Model C, I've been teaching in a private school in different forms, be it in the classroom, be it on the sports field, but I've been doing that. 8-9 years, that's a long time. All of a sudden we do PGC together, we get the theory, and then they put you in a grade 9 classroom for the first time. And they say, teach them this concept. And you panic. You freeze. They asked me to do the same thing. And I was like, okay, guys, just settle down. Okay, page 19, let's go. And the kids react and the kids pick up their authority because I've got 9 years over you. It's not talent. It's not magic. It's not this, Benson just took a risk by saying this to the kids. And then they just sat down and no, I didn't take a risk. I know over my 9 years experience from when I was 12, teaching over and over. Now that I'm 21, I know exactly what to do. Because I've done it. I've tried, I've failed, I've tried, I've failed, I've tried, I've failed, I've tried, I've failed. Over and over and over and over. To you who's seeing this for the first time, it is me just taking a bold stance. To you. It's not to me. When we see this person starting a store, Debza was saying, like he's an entrepreneur, obviously he owns Travel Media House. And I was like, Debza, when you started this, it wasn't this huge risk like a person who knows nothing about entrepreneurship. Because you were born in it. Your father, your uncle, they raised you in it from when you were a little tadpole. You saw so you, and being an entrepreneur, you grew up in it. It was practice. You saw the hours that it required just for you guys to break even. You saw the amount of time, the blood, sweat, and tears just to get to just being normal. You saw this from when you were young. And you grew up with it. So by the time you get into your 20s, you are an entrepreneur because that's what it is. I fight with my kids all the time. We spar, we wrestle, I put up the pads, they punch, they fight each other, they spar each other all the time. Some older guy stands up to Untanzi, some guy who's 2 or 3 grades older than him. And then all of a sudden Untanzi stands up and says, you're not going to speak to me like that. Take it outside, boo. So, Tanzi, you took a risk and you knocked him out. I didn't take a risk. The guy was being disrespectful and I did what I was trained to do. To you, it looks like risk because you've never been trained. For me, who's got like 8 years experience fighting younger people, older people, fat people, skinny people, to me, it's not a risk. Guys, we're holding ourselves back in life because we're thinking that there are people that are special out there. We think that there are people who are superior than us somehow. Can't you not understanding, Wuti? Black Coffee has decades of time on the decks. He's got years, he's got hours. You can do that too starting today. Just putting in the work from today. tapping that soccer ball with your left. Do that exercise. Get yourself a soccer ball, a tennis ball. A tennis ball. Even if you get 2, and then tell yourself every morning, every night, for 5 minutes. And then see yourself grow. Push up. Hey, bro, I can't even do 1 push up. Great. Give yourself a 100-day challenge where every day before you shower, you're going to practice doing a push up, different types of push up, and then see where you get after 100 days, 10 days, 20 days, whatever your limit is, so that you can see what it doesn't require talent. We love talking about this. Can't we not understanding what Serena from when they were little puppies? They were practicing tennis. Tiger from when he was a little baby. He was practicing golf. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing. No one is so magically, whoa. No, Jamie Foxx speaks about this all the time. For you, it seems like, oh my God, I'm so great at the piano. I'm so great at this. He's like, I was raised in the church. So we had to go and sing in the church choir. We had to go play organ in the church choir. From before my feet could touch the pedals, I had to do this over and over and over and over. So by the time you saw me at 16, you're like, oh my God, this kid is so talented. I've been doing it for the past fucking 14 years. Over and over. I know what my control looks like. Pause. Look weird. Anyway, I know what my control looks like. I know what it's like singing in front of strangers. I know what it's like singing to church when there's 10 people. I know what it's like singing in church when it's December and there's 5,000 people. I've been doing this. So by the time you say there's an audition that I have to go do at Hollywood, or there's this or there's that, I've been doing it. It's not risky to me. It's risky to you because you think that you can jump stages. There's no such thing, guys. There's no such thing. And then all of a sudden we become scared and we become anxious. How? Try 1 push-up. Just try 1. Try half. Lie down. Put your knees on the ground. Zama that by yourself. There's nothing scary to that. But if you're trying to hit 1,000, then it's overwhelming. It's daunting. If you try to start a multinational company, it's daunting. It's huge. It's crazy. But again, if you take the necessary step from what A, B, C, D, we'll get there. Anyway, guys, that's just my thought around risk. I think risk is bullshit. I think risk is something that has been created for us to be scared and not actually do it. And if we start studying it, then there's no risk. If you start studying snakes, for example, if you start sitting on YouTube, going to the library, going to the zoologist or whatever these people are called and start studying snakes, all of a sudden it might not be risky to pick up a corn snake because you know what it looks like and how it moves. So again, knowledge is power. Doing the right steps in order to grow yourself and in order for you guys to be successful. Guys, please comment. Tell me what you guys think. If you think I'm talking bullshit, say I'm talking bullshit, but then back your shit. Back it. Anyway, share far and wide. Let's start these conversations so that we can all grow and become better versions of ourselves. Like, subscribe, do all those amazing things. Have yourselves a fantastic day. I'm out.